Hi, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Carved Emotions podcast, where we are open, imaginative, and refreshing. I hope you enjoyed our last episode. This is episode 2. If you haven't listened to episode 1 as yet, you could find it on all platforms. Be Mindful is the name of that episode, and we want to continue into another episode where we are indeed rooting for ourselves. This episode is called Be Careful What You Wish For. I know you have heard the saying before, be careful what you wish for. And they always top it off with, because you just might get it. What I'm about to share might be a little triggering for some females, some males, just triggering overall. And I'm only sharing it because I'm actually sharing it because I want to just bring the point across, and I hope I'm able to do so in a way that people understand and get what I'm saying, and not necessarily focus so much on the experience that I went through. So I used to always joke around about my virginity growing up, and a lot of my friends, we used to talk about how romantic the virginity taking moment would be, but for me it was always like, I don't want to do all that stuff because you're just gonna get attached to the person, and I just don't. I just want it to be quick and over with, and I preferably get it done with a friend, so that's out of the way. And I used to always joke around getting it done with this specific friend. I didn't even mean it. I was just saying stuff until it happened, and how it happened was not what I was expecting. I was raped by that friend. So it ended up that my virginity was taken, but not in the way that I joked about. And when it happened, all I could think about was, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you wish for. That phrase stuck with me because I felt like I wished for that, and the universe, it didn't even, I guess, understood what I was asking for, but it gave me that. My virginity was taken by that friend. It didn't it didn't even matter how it was taken, but it was taken. And I left with that trauma because I was specific in what I asked for. I guess that's how I interpreted it. I wasn't specific in asking the universe exactly what I want. And for years, after that, I was always just mindful of what I asked the universe for, what I'm putting out there, so that I'm not on the receiving end of something that I don't want. I brought up that experience, as hard as it was for me, because I want to speak on deliberate thinking. Sometimes we allow our thoughts to roam so freely, and we don't even understand where that is leading us into. So the universe will give us what we're asking for, but it isn't deliberate. You have to be the one to give it deliberate instructions. Think positively, because we will say, universe, I need a car. We're going around. We haven't even told them what kind of car we want. We end up getting a deadbeat car at the end of the day. I mean, we'll be very grateful for that, but were we specific in our thoughts? Were we aligning our thoughts to what exactly we wanted? Because all in all, I could easily say that the universe could easily say, that's what you asked for and I gave it to you, but that's not how I wanted it. and it left me scarred. So when we do ask the universe for things, be prepared to receive it. Be prepared to collect that which you have asked for. That way you don't mismanage it when it falls into your basket. So when we go around and we think these thoughts, are we ready for what we're asking for? Are we ready for what we're asking for? Or are we asking for the right things, and then when they come into our hands, we're like, oh, what this man? Are we? I want you to understand where I'm going with this. It was not about what my experience, it was about my thoughts in the situation. Actions came with my thoughts. And I'm not victim blaming. I'm not saying that we think our way into bad things or this is what will happen for another person. I'm speaking on me and my experience because I felt like it was a prime example, because it really was for me be careful what you wish for moment. You know, that's how it felt for me. And for somebody else, it could be an entirely different situation. And it brings me back to the phrase that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. What are we thinking ourselves into? Who is the person that we're thinking ourselves into? Who are we giving our thoughts to? Who are we building our thoughts into? A burden for me recently, I'm still learning to adapt to, but I was beating on myself, saying, why is the universe taking so long to do her thing? Why is the universe taking so long to compensate me? Why is karma taking so long to do her thing? And I'm here, I'm waiting in vain, because that's not going to happen. It hit me that not gonna happen. That not happen. That will never happen. Not if I don't take responsibility of the things that happen to me. So I am, in a sense, adopting the mindset that I am responsible for everything that I do, everything that happens to me. I have to take actions. I have to take action for actions to change in my life. I can't wait for the universe to pity me and give me things that I am not even trying to do myself. How am I going to expect the universe to give me something I'm not even built for, I'm not even asking for, I'm not even thinking for, I'm not ready for? So I have to keep reminding myself that I have to take control of the things that are happening in my life. You're a good person, but it doesn't mean that good things will happen to you. You have to make those good things happen to you, for yourself. I have reached this stage where I'm taking action. If I am sad or happy, it is my fault, my responsibility, no matter who has done me wrong, who is cheering me on. That external force is an addition. So if I am successful or not, it doesn't matter how many people hurt me, how much people have helped. The return, the result of it all is my responsibility. So it comes down to me pushing myself. I can't allow others to do that for me. I can't allow others to be the driving force behind my happiness or my sadness or my weakness or my depression. It's on me. So where do I want to be? Where do I see myself? I've heard the saying, whatever you give in love will come back to you 10 times over. But are you doing this for yourself? Are you giving to yourself? We're giving into everybody else, but are you giving into yourself? And we wonder why things aren't happening for us. We're not doing anything for ourselves. We're not thinking these positive thoughts. We're not trying to attract. If you don't pour into your cup, if you not pour in your cup, where you go drink? What are you going to drink if you don't pour into your cup? What are you going to get out of yourself if you don't give to yourself? How do you expect greatness from yourself when you don't feed yourself that? What are you producing? What are you fertilizing yourself with? And this isn't all about motivation. None of this is about motivation. Thinking like this needs discipline. Discipline for things that won't happen overnight. Just like we've been telling ourselves that we need to go to the gym, we need to eat right, all the things that we want to do to improve ourselves. But none of that is mere motivation. None of that. Motivation only gets us excited, brother. Like, motivation is just to start the car. You have to drive it with discipline. Drive it with discipline. We have to be disciplined in our thinking, in our actions towards our goals. Remember, what would the better version of yourself do? Because on days when motivation run out, when encouragement gone, you're left with discipline. You have to keep pushing yourself. That siren came just in the right moment, and I'm going to leave it there. So much so because pushing yourself is an emergency. Pushing yourself call for action right now. Wake up. You understand? And in the spirit of motivation, all the things that aren't helping us to better ourselves, all the things that are weighing us down. Here's this episode's poem. It's called The Go by Queen Lassine. I encourage you always, but I suck at self-motivation. I'll help you build that house while I room with procrastination. I push you to dress up and show up, but I am clothed with imposter syndrome. Dream big, I say to you, while I can't get past living in my own head. If it's one thing I am wearing, it is my smile, but only when I have company and not on my own time. I plan the group get together, but hope for an escape. As draining as it is, I do need to flush, get it out of my system and make things happen. I need to be great. This poem, The Go, is a perfect example of how we go about on a daily basis, pushing others in our life, encouraging them. We are pouring into other people's cup, pouring their tea, their coffee, their water, their wine. But we're not pouring into ourselves. We're giving of ourselves to everybody else. We're not giving into ourselves. We're not thinking the thoughts we need to think. We're not doing the things that will allow us to improve and move forward. So as we close this episode tonight, here's to kicking procrastination out. Here's to undressing from imposter syndrome. Here's to positive wishing. So we no longer have to be careful of what we wish for because we are aligned. Here's to discipline. Here's to getting up and knowing that we want it for ourselves. Here's to doing it when nothing is pushing us to do it. Here is to ourselves. And I hope going forward you never have to be careful of what you wish for. Thank you so much for joining us on this another episode of the Carved Emotions podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at the.carved.emotions. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Peace.